Welcome back. So back when I was in college, my major was Japanese, and in my senior year I did a research project where we got to choose our own topic, and my topic was the influence of Christianity in Japan. Japan seems like a culture that wouldn't be influenced by Christianity, but one of my sources was a video all in Japanese. All my sources had to be in Japanese, by the way. This video discussed specific things that indicate a strong connection between Japanese culture and Christianity. A lot of this is speculation, as there's not much confirmation sources outside this video. The YouTuber from the video source is not a Christian, so you can assume all the following information is unbiased, as well as interesting. So, let's go. That's it. Although history books and Google tells us that Christianity arrived in Japan around 1500, is it possible it could have snuck in earlier? Here are a few things that may point to that possibility. So one of the things, believe it or not, is sumo wrestling, more specifically a type of sumo wrestling that is attached to a Shinto ritual called Hitori Sumo, or one-person sumo wrestling. This ritual is still performed at a shrine in Nagasaki called Suwa Jinja. The idea is that the sumo wrestler is fighting with an invisible kami, or god, for entertainment/ritual purposes. How is this related to Christianity, you ask? In the first book of the Christian Bible, Genesis, chapter 32, verses 22 through 32, there's a story about Jacob who wrestles with God. In short, Abraham's son Jacob wrestled with an unknown being that is either described as a man or an angel, depending on the translation. But from the original Greek and Hebrew writings, this being is literally described as the One, or One. It is believed that this One is the God of the Bible, who gives Jacob a new name, Israel, like the country, which is Hebrew for he who wrestles with God, or struggles with God. He who struggles with God. This encounter/wrestling match between Jacob and God in Hebrew is called Sumo. Sound familiar? Perhaps sumo wrestling got its origins from this historical event in the Bible. The next piece of Japanese culture that may have had biblical roots is the iconic Tori, or Tori Gates, those red archways that you see all over Japan. These archways are usually found at Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples, as they signify a spiritual place or holy ground. Fushimi Inari, which I have visited before, is a special shrine in Kyoto that is famous for its winding maze of over 1,000 Tori gates and counting. How could this unique piece of Japanese architecture have biblical origins, you ask? Over 2,000 years ago, documented in the book of Exodus, chapter 12, God instructed the Israelites who were held captive in Egypt to paint lamb's blood on the doorposts of their houses to avoid the last and worst of the 7 plagues of Egypt. The blood on the doorposts also signified a holy and protected place, similar to both color and purpose of the Japanese Tori gates. As I mentioned Buddhist temples, or otera, did you know that the architectural layout of the Old Testament tabernacle/temple and Japanese Buddhist temples are very similar? According to my research, and comparing pictures of each type, you can spot that each both have an outer and inner shrine. Both structures are also roughly the same size, so I heard. Many different cultures around the world have their own Jesus figure, so to speak, and yep, Japan has one too. His name is Prince Shotoku. Just like Jesus, Prince Shotoku was born in a barn a couple hundred years after Jesus. That's really the only similarity I could find. Apparently in Japan and China, people conflated Jesus and Prince Shotoku because they were both sugoi people. I don't have too much info on that point. There are some Japanese sources that try and compare these two historical figures, but it's kind of a stretch. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed these interesting ponderings with me. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is any of this believable in the slightest? Or do you think it's all bollocks, as they say in Ireland? I can say that. It's not appropriation because I have Irish blood, so don't come for me. Anyway, go to war in the comments section. I'll leave you to it. If you want more videos about Christianity in Japan, just let me know because I did a lot of research for my Japanese major about this, so you know what to do. Boo boo. Bye bye.